my first trial in full attorney, and I had my long braids. Just spent hours at the beauty salon, at least 7 hours. I'm so proud of you, braids. Did my first jury trial, my supervisor said to me, you should take those out. And I like, I put them in a ponytail, so they will.
Oh my God, the audacity.
I'm so
Take my braids out?
that with us, but I'm the audacity. I'm sorry. Anybody else would like to share?
At our group, we talked about not necessarily being treated different, but definitely like the looks you may get if your hair is a little bit more diverse, especially in different settings, work settings, but also not being treated differently by other races, but even our own kind who say things and impose their opinions about what your hair should look like or what they thought it looked better as, just like, teacher May said. So it definitely happens. So
thank you. Anybody else before we continue? No? Okay. Well, that's any other questions? Like the next one, like why do you think textured hair creates such a big topic of discussion? Anybody see anything about that one? No? So with that being said, that's basically what the Crown Act has been, proposed to really just target. The Crown, it stands for creating a respectable and open world for natural hair. So, because as we, had in this discussion, us talking, having natural hair isn't always deemed as respectful, it's always deemed as professional, right? And so having an act that can support that space for us, right? And make it so that we can be in a space and not feel like the odd duckling is important for us, right? And so I'm really glad that we're all here today to talk about this and have these conversations, because having the conversation is really what, gets things moving. And with conversation comes education, right? So that is why we have these four beautiful professionals. And we will be discussing further topics from their point of view. So I would also really like to take a moment to introduce our moderator, Miss Ashlee Brown. I'm gonna get her. So Miss Ashlee Brown, she is really dedicated to Black media and just the proper representation and showcasing of diverse and multifaceted aspects of Black culture. And with nearly a decade of storytelling, I'm not talking about I'm just saying that you have a lot of experience in this, and you know what you're talking about. With nearly a decade of storytelling experience, she launched her signature project, Rooting for Everybody Black, which please subscribe to, it's amazing, featured on YouTube. And this series, it really exemplifies her mission and really everything that she stands for on helping Black-owned businesses and really fighting for Black people by a Black person. So, Ms. Ashlee Brown, can you please?
Hi, everyone. Really excited to be here and moderate this much needed conversation with our two panelists. Our third one is coming, but this should be a really good conversation that you guys are in for a treat. So should we get started in introducing our panelists?
Yes, I would really love that.
All right, so we're gonna keep it brief. In about 2 to 3 sentences, our panelists are gonna introduce themselves. First, we have Nicole.
Hi everyone, Nicole Pierre-Louis. Really excited because I'm back home at Pace University. I'm an alumni, graduated in 2011, and I'm also an alumni of the Omicron chapter of Alpha Kappa Alpha Sorority Incorporated as well. So really awesome to be home. Professionally, I work in talent acquisition at PepsiCo, so really excited to dive into this conversation today.
Awesome. And next we have Keturah.
Hi everyone, my name is Keturah Raymond. I am not an alum of Pace. I'm in Syracuse. I'm a member of Sigma Gamma Rho Sorority Incorporated by way of Syracuse. I'm here as Black Girl Curl. I have a natural hair channel called Black Girl Curl, where I just encourage women and men to wear their natural hair and empower them to style it. And just so that they know that it's not hard to manage at all. My 9 to 5 is in media, advertising, and
Yeah. And our third panelist is not here yet, but she's Naja Williams, and she is an attorney working for the New York Council, right? New York County Supreme Court. So she's a big deal. I mean, we're all a big deal. But she's on her way from work now, and she'll be joining us soon. So she is also a Pace Law School alum. So we just got Pace in the building here with Nicole and Naja. So. Okay, so I should say where I'm. Okay, so thank you for the lovely intro, Lulu. My background is actually in news. I used to work for News 12 as a multimedia journalist. And when I was working there, I don't know if you guys swim, but I grew up swimming. I'm not a lifeguard anymore, but I lifeguarded all through high school and college. So, protecting your hair is obviously very important, especially if you have textured hair like myself and like a lot of you guys. And there are swim caps designed for big hair, right? So I think at the time, the Olympics, there was a swim cap company, I think called Soul Cap. And they made hair caps specifically for textured hair, and the Olympics banned it. So when I heard that, being a former swimmer, I'm like, what? No way. So working at News 12, in order to make the story a story, I had to find a local angle. And Annie, she is a Pace alum, but she was also on the swim team, right? Yeah. So I spoke with Annie for her input on what she thought about those caps being banned. So we're just going to share that video.
Well, there's another Olympic-sized controversy, and the games haven't even begun.
This one involves a recent ban of a swim cap designed for diverse textured hair.
Ashlee Brown dives into how this move is impacting black swimmers.
It's no surprise that Annie Kappa loves to swim. But what she doesn't love is the preparation.
And I have to do a lot of kind of pre-planning before the season even starts to think about whether my hair is going to fit in a cap or not.
And that's each time she suits up for her Pace University team. Like most people with Afro-textured hair, a standard cap doesn't fit. So when the Tokyo Olympics decided to ban caps that fixed that very problem, Annie felt disappointed.
I've reached the NCAAs. I have won a conference. I have a lot of achievements, and I would consider myself an elite swimmer.
The International Swimming Federation rejected a British brand called Soul Cap, saying elite swimmers shouldn't need them.
So I think that the decision made to ban the caps, the larger caps, will definitely be at a detriment and will discourage younger children of color to swim, and even the parents from enrolling them in swimming lessons.
As an example, I decided to compare the swim caps myself. It's already sliding off, I can feel it. And although it's not working. Now, I have a cap similar to the Soul Cap that's been banned by the Tokyo Olympics. It's stretchier, it's larger, and I think it may work. Let's try it out. I'm already able to fit my whole head in it. Now, let me put all of my hair in, just like that. Simple, more efficient. Lastly, Kapal Palmer offers this advice for those discouraged by this news.
It shouldn't have an effect on you. I think you can be that next change.
Ashlee Brown, News 12.
Well, in response to this controversy, the International Swimming Federation put out a statement. It says, in part, FINA is currently reviewing the situation with regard to Soul Cap and similar products, understanding the importance of inclusivity and representation.
Okay. So with that being said, I just want to talk about the importance of speaking out and speaking up for yourself, because had it not been for people, sharing outrage of that being banned, I don't think they would have put out a statement reconsidering their decision. So our third panelist has joined us. Hi, Naja.
Hi, thank you for having me at today's program. And sorry for my
No, of course. You have an important job. I'll let them know that. So can you just explain, give your bio in about 2 to 3 sentences?
Sure. It's very short. I'm a law clerk at New York County Supreme Court Commercial Division, and I recently graduated from law school in 2022. Since then, I've had a lot of work to do. Still recovering from certain exams and things of that nature. But I'm learning a lot about the court system, and and just learning about the legal landscape as it stands now.
Absolutely. All right, so let's get started. I have a few questions for our panelists. My first question is actually for you, Naja. So we've been talking a lot about the Crown Act, which stands for Creating a Respectful and Open World for Natural Hair Act this evening. How do you feel this type of legislation impacts students entering the workspace today?
So as far as the impact, I would say that the act impinges upon what type of professional you want to go into the workforce as. And what I mean by that is our natural hair, depending on what that is for you, whether it's an accessory, a statement of your identity, however you use your hair and wear your hair, you have to think about how that identifies you in the workforce. And that's always been an issue for people of color, especially Black people in the workforce. However, I think the impact is it has a bite to it now, because now there's some recourse. Folks who have gone into the workforce, even just within the last decade, have not had the recourse of being able to have the act to fall back upon if they've ever experienced race-based discrimination. And what the act does is it adds attributes of race, which is different from any other class-based protection, because now natural and texturized hair is attributed to Blackness. So that's what's really important. And now, and something actually just came out in the journal this morning, the New York Law Journal, because discrimination does still happen. There is a Black attorney from the New York City Law Department who is suing for race-based discrimination. And something that his employers, the defendants in that case, have alleged, or that they argue, is that the comments, the discriminatory comments that they made against the plaintiff were not attributable to race. So they made comments about the plaintiff because he had owned some sort of chicken business. He might have run a store where it sold chicken, and there were jokes made about his prior enterprise before he came to the law department. There were other race-based comments that were made concerning food in relation to the chicken business, and as well as offering the plaintiff a piece of candy that was watermelon flavored and saying that it was his favorite flavor. And then argued in court papers that those comments were not attributable to race. So what's important about the Crown Act is that it includes attributes such as texturized hair and specific hairstyles that are attributable to Blackness, so that you now have recourse when you sue for race-based discrimination. So when you think about what type of professional you want to be going into the workforce, that's really important. What role is your hair playing in that part of your profession? There's two things that people see right off the bat: your skin and your hair. So you're going to that's going to be the first point that you'll have to address. And it doesn't mean that you necessarily have to go in looking for the discrimination, because it will find you. Just because there is a law against hair-based and race-based discrimination doesn't mean that you won't be met with the discrimination. But there are a lot of companies now, as one of our panelists will talk about, where there's DEI initiative as a measure of corporate responsibility that's available at a lot of different companies. So they're asking for more Black faces, and they'll maybe let you in the door, but maybe they won't let you be client facing, public facing in certain ways. And you will find throughout your time that maybe it is because of my hair. However, in my case, I've just recently entered the legal professional workspace, and Black lawyers are a group of attorneys that people are looking for. So in that case, it was a little bit different because they're looking for Black faces, they're looking for Black hair, they're looking for attorneys that are outwardly Black, which was very encouraging to me, but that's not always the case. Sometimes you may want to go for jobs that are more corporate and may call for a more cleaner, polished presence. That doesn't mean natural hair can't be clean and polished. So some people feel as though the right strategy is to walk in the door
with your
showing
straight hair,
one form of natural hair, and then busting out once you've been hired with your natural hair in all its glory. That's a way to go. You can also come unapologetically as you are, and that could also be a drawing point to you. So I think the impact is a little bit nebulous for, I think, young folks going into the workforce, because it really can be what seals the deal. It could be that they're looking for you, or it could be that they'll take you in, but they won't have you so present in public areas. So it just depends on what your goals are for your career, how you want to be remembered as a professional, and maybe even aligning yourself particularly in that profession. And I know that you asked a question, sorry.
That's okay.
About my bio. And one thing I do list in my bio is that one of the highlights of my legal education was interning for 2 Black-owned, Black-operated woman firms. So that was really important to me because I wanted to align myself where I would be accepted unapologetically. If all I had was the last little bit of Eco Styler gel, and I scooped it out to get my edges down and put it in a bun before I could get my hair braided, I needed that to be enough to be respected, to be, touted for my intelligence and not have it stop at my appearance. So I would say that is the biggest impact, at least at this point. You have the same issues and travails as someone who went through the workforce or went into the workforce 10 to 15 years before you. However, you now have going to the New York State Division of Human Rights or the EEOC and having them honor a complaint that's race-based, based on texture and hairstyles.
I love that. That was a lot, but very, very, no, that was good. That was good. And that actually leads me to my next point, right? So, you know how you said a technique could be going into the job, with your straight hair and then busting out your natural hair. It's a shame that you even have to do that, right? So judging a book by its cover, it's not meant to do, but people do it, right? You could be the smartest person. You could be the CEO of a company and have bright red hair, but it's an issue because you're the CEO and you shouldn't look like that. So that leads me to my next point. I have a question for you, Nicole. You work at PepsiCo. And what change have you seen in regards to natural hair in the workplace, and what efforts are companies making to make it more inclusive?
Yeah, no, thank you for the question. So one thing I kind of want to just poll our audience first is, have you ever participated in a class project? Yes? Okay. Very good, very good. If you participated in a class project and you wanted it to be successful, you definitely have to compose it with folks that have different perspectives, different ideas, so you're able to really pull and to get the best of all the worlds, right? Mm-hmm. So when you're thinking about diversity practices and organizations, that's exactly what is, supposed to be, looked for, right? You want to have folks that are different ethnic background, different gender, different perhaps sexual identity, and so on and so forth. Really and truly, that does help bring diverse business outcomes. It does help to make an impact on the bottom line. One of the things I think is so important and critical is that you're able to push the impact on the bottom line, right? Mm-hmm. I think that's where you get a lot of resonation. Where it resonates a lot from corporate employers, how you're able to show the business case for diversity overall.
Nice. Okay. And for you, Keturah, you do natural hair, right? You have a channel on YouTube? Yes, remind me your channel?
Black Girl Curls.
Black Girl Curls. All right, y'all follow her. Y'all with the K. K. Yes.
It's really hard to hear the panelists. Is it possible
Okay, so the mic can't move. Can we enunciate? Is that better? Is that better? Can y'all enunciate?
We could do that.
We'll scream. We'll scream. All right, yes. So Keturah has a channel on YouTube called Black Girl Curl. It is also up there if you guys want to check it out. So what inspires you to create hair content?
So I started in college. I'm not old, but I went to school in 2015 to 2019. And it feels like it wasn't that long ago. Not many people wore their natural hair in college. Like, I was the natural hair friend, so people wanted advice. They needed hair products. They came to my room because I had everything. And that's kind of what sparked it. Like, everyone would come to me for advice. So I was like, maybe I could just start a blog. I could just, put it up online. And that's what I did. And what's kept it going, so at the time it started in college, it was being natural on a college budget, college schedule, and showing people that you can still do it even though you're busy. Like, your hair doesn't have to be a barrier. A lot of the misconceptions of natural hair is that it's too time consuming, that it's expensive, and it's really not. Like, I feel like that's just gimmicks, like, to sell more products. Like, you don't need the lock method. You don't need 100 products to do your hair. Wash day doesn't have to be wash day. I do my wash day in an hour. Wash, twist up, and I'm done in an hour. It does not take that long, I promise you. And that's what I put out there. So that's what started it, and that's what's kept it going. It's just being natural in different phases of life, and it's not hard, y'all.
And it looks good. And it looks good. All right, so Social Justice Week is happening now at Pace? All right. And Naja, with you being a Pace Law alum, how can students use their voice to advocate for change?
To advocate for change, my answer to that is educate yourself on the issues. There's a lot of misinformation out there, and I think that the best thing you can do right now is interrogate your sources. We all know that we get our clips and our bits from Instagram, TikTok, wherever you get your daily clips. That is not necessarily news. We have to get back to doing research. There's a wide array of information about the candidates that are running on reputable platforms. You can even go for, candidate Kamala Harris. You can actually go to the state's website, California state website, and actually look at her record. So a lot of this information is publicly available. There's platforms, and that's not as an endorsement to anybody, but that's just to let you know that is public information that is accessible. So that means that you can, thank you.
When you're ready to speak.
Is it on?
That's
Hello.
So sorry.
Nope.
All right, so mine is on.
Thank you. So that is my advice. It's a little bit harder on the other side with other candidates if they're not as public, if their record is a little bit more salacious. Again, interrogating your sources, picking issues that are important to you. There are an array of issues. There's reproductive rights, climate, you name it. Pick one and really find an issue that you're passionate about and talk to someone that you know who may not be voting and talk to them about that issue. Talk to them about why it's important to you, and I'm not advocating to go out onto campus and argue with everyone. Don't do that. It's a waste of your time, and there are important things to be done. However, talk about an issue that is important to you and let people understand why that issue is important to you, and then what that particular candidate is doing about that issue. So whoever your candidate of choice is, maybe talk about the things that they stand for, the legislation that they may have been instrumental on, or something that they campaign very vigorously about that resonates with you. So that would probably be the most impactful thing that I think that can be done with the week and a half that we have left.
Yeah.
Yes, okay.
Great answer, Naja. Great answer. All right, we're gonna bring it back to you, Nicole. In more recent years, we've seen a large increase in DEI initiatives, diversity, equity, and inclusion, in programs across the country. As a recruiter for one of the largest corporations in the country, what does a more diverse workplace bring to these organizations?
Thank you for the question. So just to start, for years and years and years, I was rocking it out with the bone straight hair. Okay. Love a good bone straight look. However, sometimes it's not realistic based on weather conditions and so on and so forth. You'll see me now, my hair is locked. I do work in a very corporate space as well. I think what has happened over time, definitely the Crown Act has definitely helped that for sure. What I would encourage all of you to do is, as you're considering different maybe internship or full-time opportunities, you really have to take the time to interview that organization just as much as you're being interviewed yourself, right? You have to take the time to assess, is there some place where I can show up authentically as myself? Or is it some place where it will require an excessive amount of code switching, and you have to truly make that decision for yourself? What do you want to participate in, right? Code switching, I would say it's a lot. It's tiring. You can definitely be very stressed out from doing it.
And you gotta keep up with it.
You gotta keep up with it. That's a major fact for sure. What I would like to share, so where I am now, I am a leader of an employee resource group as well. Think of that at an organization, in a corporate space, kind of like a student club or organization. In that, we really are pushing for diversity of thought, allyship. How are you able to connect with others who maybe look like you, or perhaps those that do not look like you as well? I really think that with Employee Resource Group, it is fostering community connection, so you are more comfortable rocking your crown, right? You want to be comfortable doing so. So I encourage you to, again, look for spaces where you can be your authentic self as well.
Great answer. Yes, definitely having a code switch and, not really show up as yourself can be very exhausting, right? And as you see, like she said, she used to have that bone straight hair and now it's natural and locked and beautiful. All right, Keturah, I have a question for you. With your large following, what message do you hope to spread to your audience? And would you say that in today's day and age, there's fair representation of natural hair in the media?
So kind of touched on it a little bit, but the message I want to spread to my audience is that you should be able to love your natural hair and style it however you want without feeling like it's too complicated. So really uncomplicated natural hair. Like it's not a burden. It shouldn't take you long. You shouldn't be paying those ridiculous prices to get it styled. And like loving your natural hair should feel natural. And the second question was,
do you feel like as though there's fair representation in the media with natural hair these days?
I'd say yes and no. The first example that comes to mind of yes is I was binge watching Bel Air recently, and Aunt Viv and Ashlee, their hair, they just be eaten down like braids. There was actually one scene where I think it was like a family reunion or a gala or something, and you saw Aunt Viv styling Ashlee's hair, and I was just like, oh, like this is like the stuff that we need to see. Like
representation matters.
Yes, it does. And I think about like my niece. She's 11. She has long hair, but she goes to school in Long Island at a predominantly white school. I think her and my nephew are probably the only two Black kids in the school. And so I think, seeing stuff like that on TV is affirming. And I also think of Issa Rae on Insecure. She wore her hair natural the entire show. and it was amazing. Like I even got some inspo from those styles too, and she's 4C. But then there's also the Victoria's Secret fashion show that just happened. That hair looked a mess. Like they looked a mess, and I'm like, y'all have money. Like why are you brushing these girls' hair out and having them walk in the runway like that when you literally have, like, it's almost like willful ignorance. Like, don't play in my face. Like, you're a huge corporation. Why do you have them walking out like that? So it's very like hit or miss. But I think when you do look for it, you'll find it. I wish there was more, but it's better than what it was.
Baby steps.
Yeah.
And, you know, to piggyback on the Victoria's Secret show conversation, I've seen videos of models like going in to get styled, but prepared to fix their hair to how it should be, because the makeup artists or the hairstylists that they hire don't really know how to work with Black people hair or Black people's skin, you know? So it's a headache, because then you gotta go ahead and do the extra stuff that your, you know, lighter counterparts or white counterparts don't have to do. So hopefully, you know, with time things get better. Okay, so those are all the questions that I have for the panelists. Do you guys have any questions before we move on to the next part? Y'all having a good time? Yeah. Okay. No questions, hearing none.
I have a question for the panelists.
Okay.
And anybody can answer this, really. So, one thing that, you know, I feel like me, when I started my natural hair journey, I was in the 8th grade, right? I'm Dominican, of Dominican descent, and I remember going to the Dominican salon one day. And it was damaged at this point, because I was going every single weekend. And it was so damaged that the comb would not go through, not even when you put dishwashing soap on it. And so she hit me on the side of the head with Ratso comb. She was like, "This is the last time you come to my house and come to my salon with your hair that like nappy." And I never went again. Like that was like the start, right? And now the thing is that like as you grow up, right? Now I'm talking as like a 22-year-old. I'm not that old, but like I'm talking as a 22-year-old compared to like me at the age of 13 at the time, right? Like how can, and you know, I'm a grad student now, but we have freshmen in here, right? And so even as a freshman, like when I wrote my college essay, I wrote it on that experience. And so how can you go through these like maybe traumatic experiences and then move forward with it to like in a powerful way? Because I was a bit petty. I didn't tell you guys the whole full story, but I was a bit petty. But like,
what you do, Lulu?
But like, how can you give advice to other people who want to, you know, at the end of the day, yes, they went through this like traumatic experience. However, they still want to like maintain that decorum that is expected so much of Black women. But you know, like there's so much standards that we have. We want to keep these standards, but we still want to like, you know, how can we do that?
I can start if you'd like. Excellent question. So one of the things I would say is representation matters, right? So as you kind of matriculate and you get to different spaces, it could even be your sophomore and you may have a mentee who's a first year student, right? You need to be able to mentor others and bring them along the way, and also share experiences, right? I appreciate that you shared that story because it definitely can be really isolating when something happens to you. I would encourage you to speak up, to share it with your community, because I'm sure you probably are not the only person who experienced that. There's power in numbers, and it really does make a difference. You share your story, somebody else shares theirs, and you're able to build allyship within your own self as well.
Great answer. Go ahead, Naja.
I would say when that type of experience happens, you then have to come back to yourself and really explore what about your hair that you love. Because this is a comment from someone who knows nothing about you, who is inserting their immediate experience of you and is reacting in ways that maybe, you know, it could come from anywhere.
Projection.
It could be, you know, bias, unconscious bias. It could be surprise. And Lulu, thank you for sharing your story, because sometimes it's met with maybe ignorance from, you know, cultural background. And when it happens, it's happened to me multiple times, but sometimes, more often than not, I've realized it's happened to me out of curiosity. Most people, when they comment on your hair in that way, they're more just curious about how you manage, about how you're affected throughout the day. And I'm sure that comment probably didn't come from that place, but speaking from this place, I think that you have to come back to your hair and figure out what you love and then lead with that when you get those comments. You lead with that. Sometimes if I come in with big hair, I'll just say I'm extra blessed, I'm closer to God today. You know, you come back with something that really is a personal tie to your hair. Whether it's big and it's voluminous and it's a little bit voluminous and a little bit nappy, like, okay, well, that's my texture and I come in and I rock this. That's what I'm leading with. And you don't necessarily have to make light of it, but you share that love with someone else, whether that be through humor or even educating folks, even though that's emotional labor and I don't believe in that. But you find the way to communicate your love to someone else.
I love that answer, Naja. Can I add to that?
Yes.
So, and then you also mentioning representation matters, right? So also I want to touch on, there is no such thing as good hair, right? And nappy hair is not always bad. It's just a more coarser texture, but that doesn't mean it's not good hair. Everyone's hair is good. As long as your hair is healthy, trimmed, follicles are good, your hair is good hair, okay? You know, I work with, I am the only, well, one of two Black women in my office. I work with a lot of Caucasian people and Caucasian men. And I like to change my hair a lot. I like to switch it up. So like I'll wear braids, I'll wear sew-in, you know, I'll be natural. I'm always looking different. And I have a coworker who, I can tell he doesn't know any better. And a lot of times it's ignorance. Like people are speaking from like a place of ignorance, as you said. And this is, again, you shouldn't have to educate them, but this is like the time to, or just point them to Google, because Google is a free resource. But anyways, I would, come to the office and, with my different hair, and he would always say to me, "Oh my God, Ashlee, I love your hair. So long. Wow, it grew." And I'm just like, yeah, yeah, it did. Because you can't be that dull, right? You can't. And maybe you're being funny, so I'll be funny back. You said, like, she's like, took the petty route. You don't always got to do that. But I just wanted to lead with, all hair is good hair. And love your natural crown. You want to say something?
Yes. So I want to ask you, have you ever gone to an office with a new hairstyle with someone that usually says hi to you doesn't say hi to you because they don't recognize you? Mm-hmm. It's happened to me.
Mm-hmm. You mean my face changed? I mean, my hair is different, but my face is still the same.
Walk right past you in the break room.
Wow.
Oh, must be because I have a different hairstyle too. Yeah.
That sucks. People can be very nice. But yes. Anyone else had a similar? Yes, Ms. Kim?
Not a similar. I'm just so thrilled.
Oh wait, let me bring you the mic.
Thank you. I'm just so thrilled that there's a community now for women and men with natural hair. Mm-hmm. My hair has been natural probably longer than some of you have been alive. 21 years. After I had my son, I went natural when I was pregnant with him and decided to remain natural. So it was a struggle back then. No product. People really didn't know what to do with your hair. And I have super coarse, love my coarse hair. Mm-hmm. And I was doing a super perm. Y'all know what super perm is, way back when. And so I was discouraged. Your hair, oh my God, is so coarse, it's so nappy. You could never go natural. I took the leap of faith and was so happy that I went natural. My scalp felt better. Mm-hmm. And then as a mother of a daughter, by middle school, I want to wear my hair straight. I used to braid her hair all the time. And so by high school, she wanted to perm her hair. So I said, you perm, you pay. I'm not paying for a perm, and you have to keep it up or your hair will be on the floor. So she remained natural, but I said you have to embrace your natural hair. Her hair is not as coarse as mine, but she knows now you can do so much with your natural state. She wears bantu knots, she'll braid it, she'll twist it, she'll flat iron. You have so much more versatility when your hair is natural. And you don't take it, mine unfortunately went to a perm state. And back then, I'm turning to the ladies who know, you were getting permed early on in life. Third grade, I heard, because your mother, not that she would, it's like, look, pressing was a little passe back in the 70s, 80s, so it's like, okay, perm was in. And that's what they did. They permed your hair very early on. So, love that there's a community now, more products now, it's fab.
Used to throw me is when other people would say, can I touch your hair?
Oh!
Right? And that was always an ultimate insult to me.
Touch my hair.
Early on, I didn't know how to deal with that request, so sometimes in the beginning,
you let them touch it.
They touch my hair. But I never felt good about it. And then, as I got older and more mature and more self-assured, when they asked me could they touch my hair, I would say, but can I touch yours, right? And then I would say, that's kind of insulting to me. What does that have to do with the work that we do here on this job, right? So I would, bring it back to them and put it in their lap in terms of being, I guess I was trying to raise their consciousness, about black hair, about natural hair, and how insulting, how it's an insult when someone asks you to touch your hair.
Really quick. It is really quick. Miss Richards, really quick. Lulu wants to add something too. Go ahead.
I really love that comment about you talking, letting people touch your hair. A lot of people who knew me before graduated, but I don't know if you guys were at the era where I had that big afro, and you guys saw the big afro. And yes, there was a lot of white people who would also ask to touch my hair, but and this is within the community, but I don't think that just because you're black, you can touch my hair. You know what I mean? And that's something that I got a lot when I was when my hair was out and about, that my white friends thought that they couldn't touch my hair, but my black friends, they were just like, oh my God, Lulu, your hair is so pretty. It's just you're also invading my space. I don't care about white people don't know any better, but you do. And so I just wanted to put that out there too, because I think that that's a double standard that we kind of overlook, and sometimes we don't even notice it ourselves. We should be asking for permission, because at the end of the day, that's a sacred space.
And some people burn their hair when they take it out because some other things. Yeah. don't okay. But I just want to also point out, when you get a fresh hair dye, right? You go from blonde to brunette. They don't ask, oh, can I touch your brunette hair? They don't ever do that. Why don't they do that? Anyways, go ahead, Ms. Richards.
So, to the point of about you change your hair. So I changed my hair every 6 weeks.
Oh.
And I was the only, and I just stressed that, I was the only black administrator for a school district in the district office. I was the only black woman. I was the only woman. But if there was a fire drill and we went outside, every time I came back in, they were like, are you here to see someone? I work here. You just saw me on Friday. It's a different hairstyle, but there's only one me. Or then I was asked if I was the secretary all the time. But I was on an international flight. My cousin and I both had locks, and I had the corkscrew curls. We were going to a wedding, and I woke up because I wasn't sitting. She was sitting across from me, and I woke up and someone was touching me. So if you know me, I don't like to be touched unless I welcome you to touch me. My cousin was in tears, laughing, because she knew. She was like, please don't hurt these people. I turned around. There is a white Italian woman and her hand is all in my head. And she's pulling on the corkscrew curls, and she's like, because she didn't speak English, so I don't know what she was trying to say, but I felt my cousin reach her hand across the aisle to hold my hand because I was about to punch her in her head. And she was like, oh, well, because it was bright red. I had just had it dyed red, and it was corkscrew. And she, I guess, wanted to see if it was really my hair.
Wow.
It wasn't just her, it was her and her husband. It was like a whole experience. And I was like, okay, I was praying. I was like, God, I don't want to get arrested. But she was trying to say that she wanted to feel it, to see how it was. And I'm like, her hair's the same way. But I gave her a pass because she was not American. So I was like, okay, let me explain to her, number one, take your hand out my hair. And number two, ask. I was asleep. Think about waking up on a flight and somebody handing your head. Especially for us, you just got your hair done. I don't know where your hand been, miss. And I don't want it in my hair. So it was like I had to like ease back and kind of explain to her that we don't do that. But she was amazed because I was a black woman with red hair and it was curly to her, and then it was locks that were curly. So my locks were long too. And I was like, okay, how do I handle this? And I don't think we should have to think about how I should handle that. But you know how it would have been. I'm a black woman on an international flight. If I would have hauled up and punched her, I would have been in jail. And she would have been the victim. International jail, right? And I would have been, and she would have been.
That ain't no joke.
In actuality, I'm the victim because I'm being assaulted on a flight. The flight attendant, no one said anything to her as she is putting her hand in my hair. So I just say that I've been on multiple ends, and so I continue to wear my hair the way I want to wear it. And when you hire me, you hire me. You are getting what's on the resume. Whatever hairstyle that comes with that is the hairstyle that comes with that.
Thank you, Ms. Sisters. That was such a healthy discussion, guys. Oh my God. Don't touch my, what's that song Solange sings? Don't touch my hair. Seriously, don't do that. Oh, we have a question?
I have a question.
Yes.
This is to everyone, but I think more specifically to Nicole. I think, you know, we're in a college campus. A lot of people, we have freshmen in the room, but we also might have some seniors or grad students even who are looking towards starting their careers in the future. And as someone who's like, I graduated a year ago. I don't know if I can say I'm a new grad anymore, but as someone that's new to the real world, let's say, where do we draw the line that we can now, like, maybe bring this up with HR? Like, if someone makes a comment, how do I go about addressing that? Like, do I need to just, like, do that myself? Or is there someone I can go to if I feel like I can't do anything more myself?
Yeah, no, great question. I think a lot of it, so this is if somebody makes a comment about your hair, your appearance, what do you do? Okay, I think a lot of it, you have to figure out how comfortable are you with having a discourse with someone, and also find, is your manager perhaps somebody who could also support you in the conversation, or do you have another colleague that would support you in conversation as well too, right? So sometimes I say before you go to the, and this is HR for you, HR one-on-one telling you this, I think sometimes it's like if you have a good case around you or a good support system around you, that sometimes is a good mirror before you're able to say, oh yeah, Lulu said X, Y, and Z about me. I think it's sometimes good if you're able to, one, go to your manager and say, oh, you know what, I was in a meeting, or I was perhaps on my way to the cafeteria, and Lulu came to me and I felt very uncomfortable, right? I think also when you're able to speak the corporate speak as well, that also helps you tremendously. So you have to say you felt, perhaps your rights felt violated, you felt unsafe, you felt very uncomfortable by this interaction that you had. That helps you a lot as you're having the conversation. but you have to see what's the level of the offense, right? If it's something where, it's perhaps something you can handle by yourself, if it's something that you can handle with a colleague or a manager, or is it something that you truly need to escalate to the HR team as well? But when you go to HR, you need to have all your facts together so you have a strong case, so you're able to get the favorable outcome you're looking for.
Support is dire. Support is dire. Okay. Let's move on to the next slide. Oh.
So today we will be doing a raffle. I assume that you all have your raffle tickets. If you don't have one, can you please raise your hand? Okay. Can we please get one?
You're giving away a fancy hair gift set. Yes. Shout out to you. Need a raffle ticket over there? Okay, we need a raffle ticket for Miss Kim. Okay, no raffle ticket. Oh my God. Has anyone tried her products? Not yet? Okay, well. Oh my God, I'm sorry. Well, Sacred Beyonce's line?
Yes, absolutely.
What did you think? You liked it?
Oh.
Okay.
It's good though.
What would you compare it to? Miel? Oh,
that's questionable.
Oh. No? Okay. We won't talk about Miel. But yeah, Fenty, she just does her thing with the makeup, with the lingerie line. Fenty Brianna's she's not gonna give us another album, but she's doing other endeavors.
Then she's getting sneakers too.
Oh, sneakers is coming out?
Kids line.
Y'all heard Rihanna got sneakers?
Okay. So
we can choose?
Yes.
Okay.
We have.
Okay. Lulu's got something to say.
So first, I want to thank one of our panelists for bringing a lot more things to give away. Keturah, I was baffled. We only were going to give away this Fenty hair care set bundle, but she came clutch. She came clutch.
Yay, Keturah! Yay!
So we're going to have so many more things to give away. We also have these goodie bags that have been wrapped so you can take as you go out. We have bonnets. Like usually back in the day, you would, like before it was invented like a year ago, you would use a shoelace to tie up your thick hair.
Yes.
So now it's actually like hair ties for that, so you don't have to have one missing shoelace.
It does.
So we have those too. And we also have edge brushes with the bonnets. So
love that.
Take one as well. So I would like to have our panelists.
Okay.
And then the first thing we're going to be giving away is the Fenty hair care.
Let's do it over here.
Yeah, I'm just gonna.
All right, drum roll, please.
Go in the middle. Yeah, just whatever you want.
All right. It looks like the winning number for the Fenty hair gift set is 099551. Woo! You have a winner. That is so exciting. What's your name?
I'm Danae.
Danae?
Yeah, my name is Danae.
Congratulations. You get to try that. Let us know how you like it now. Okay. All right. So we have some other giveaways. The next giveaway, it seems to be a Red by Kiss 2-in-1 Detango Master Brush. It's not gonna pull your follicles out. Now, if it's dry, it might, but don't brush your dry hair. Let's have. Listen. Okay, the winning number for the hairbrush is 099565. Woo! Yes! That is Christina. Congratulations. I hope you like that. Let us know how you like it. All right, we have a visor bonnet. For the house. I know it's got like a cap-like feature, but it's for the house.
Yes.
All right. We gotta. All right, Naja. For the house.
After that, I'm just gonna. Yeah, you.
All right. Winning number is 099560. Woo! What's your name? Anaya?
Yes.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Yes, and it's long too for your big hair. I love it. Let us know how you like it. What's next? Oh, more?
Now we have.
Wow, guys, brushes galore.
So now we have one that's Flex and Claw, detangling and smooth out hair with ease brush from Red by Kiss, and then a shift and detangle. One of them has a switch.
Oh. Ooh. We are fancy here. Okay.
I'm just make it.
Okay. The winning number is 099542.
Oh.
Woo! She has dreads. She has dreads. Locks. How's she gonna? You want something else? Yeah, come get something else. 'Cause I don't know how you're gonna brush the locks.
Yeah, you can't brush the locks. We love the locks.
We love the locks. Wow. Should we just wear some shoes?
Yeah, very. Yeah, you want.
Ooh.
This is some interesting.
It is. Girl, you did your thing. Everyone say thank you to Keturah because it would not be possible without her. Yes. All right.
We just give us one thing, this, and then everything else.
Okay. All right, guys. So,
Last thing.
hot commodity here. It's literally hot. It's a hot straightener, flat iron, 450 degrees max. Don't burn your follicles off. Be careful. All right, so this one we are going to do. This is our last ticket giveaway, but we have items for you guys to just take over there. All right, so the winning number is 099544. Woo! Yes, come get your straightener. Yes.
Thank you, sister.
Congrats. All right, guys. Thank you so much for coming tonight. What you guys think?
Now, I just want to invite one of our members of our sponsoring, of Omicron Eta sponsoring grad chapter, Zeta and Omega, to please speak about, voting.
Next Tuesday, y'all. Don't play around.
So good evening, all. Good evening. Thank you all so much for coming out tonight. Join me, giving a round of applause to our panel and our moderator. We appreciate all the information you shared with us and the knowledge that you brought to this discussion this evening. So for those that are in the room, as noted, election is on Tuesday. We all have a role to play in our election. We think about hair and we think about legislation. This is how we get to sort of have a role in what happens. Before the Crown Act was implemented, it had to go through several stages before it could get passed. And in order to do that, we want to make sure you all play a role in our upcoming election. So on your tables, you have a form called 4 or More. We are asking you to think about the upcoming election. We want you to identify people in your squad that you're going to contact, follow up with, engage in the voting process. So we're asking you to use the form, just put your squad down, your best friend, your cousin, significant other, parents, anyone that you're going to call, text, take with you to the polls, remind them to do an absentee ballot, anything that you're going to do to support this upcoming election, we want you to list those members' names down. In attendance this evening, we have our co-chairs of our Social Justice Committee for the Zeta and Omega chapter, Christina and Cheryl. Raise your hands, wave the group. They're charged to this. And we want to thank them for allowing us to co-sponsor this event.